Hey guys, I'm Drew Short, and this is the RHWoodshop, and my back cabinetry is finished. So let's get started installing the drawer fronts and door fronts with all hardware included. But first, a word from our boomer station.
Jeff Vandenberg, Wisconsin Woodworking, out of Watertown, Wisconsin. I'm a Rockin' H boomer fan. Boom!
Okay, now the drawer fronts are probably going to be the easiest to lay out and cut. Basically, I'm going to take a sheet of plywood, lay it on its side, cut it to length and width underneath the countertop to the floor. Then, once I measure how big I want the drawer fronts to be, the saw blade is going to create the 1/8 inch gap between each one just by cutting it. I'm going to cut the door fronts at 15 1/16 inches, which is half of 30 1/8. This will also accommodate the 1/8 inch gap between each one. Now, because measurements in door fronts and drawer fronts are going to be pretty precise, within 1/8 of an inch of one another, and my design requires those 1/4 inch pieces out of scrapped pine. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut some up. All right, now that you figured out the problem that is making the drawers, now comes the hard part of installing the drawer front and doing it nice and neat. Well, Rockler solved another problem when it comes to that, and these are brand new on the market, and they are drawer front locators and holders. Pretty cool. Check it out. This bracket's really straightforward. It's in the shape of an L, and it has a stop screw right here to locate the drawer from side to side. It also has a clamp right here that will clamp on the inside of the drawer, like so. And then this clamp clamps the drawer front in place and allows you to fine-tune the location. Do the same thing for the left drawer front and slide it between those set screws and the pads. Give it a temporary clamp down. And now, because of the thin profile nature of the bracket, it allows you to slide the drawer in and then fine-tune your location by loosening the clamp and sliding it where you need it to go. Now I'm just going to add an extra clamp here in the middle, and that will allow me to screw it in. I love these things. Okay, now that you've got your drawer fronts on, next thing to do is install the drawer hardware. And for the drawer pulls, Rockler sent me another jig. And it is a drawer pull locator. Pretty easy. Got a little wooden stop here on the side and a clear acrylic locator system that has all different kinds of measurements for all different kinds of drawer pulls. You only need to find the one that's right for your drawer handle and then center it on the drawer front and then also center it up and down on the drawer front. Easiest thing to do once it's preset, you set it on the drawer front, make sure it's nice and flat. So using this center punch that Rockler sent with the kit, set it to the desired depth that you want for the punch, push it in, and it locates your divots. Now, because the screws that come with my hardware are too short to go through 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, I'm just going to take my Kreg jig pocket screw bit and run that with the stop collar in place to drill through this first 3/4 inch piece so I can have enough room for the screw to go through. So as you can see, using the jig to mount drawer hardware makes it very easy and fast. And as you can see, they all line up. All right, now it's time to locate the hinges on the door, and Rockler has come up with something that will make your life so much easier when it comes to this task. Now, this jig is relatively simple. It is basically a blue square bar that allows these 2 jig locators to slide on it. The jig itself has 2 clamps in the back to locate them on the bar, and then a center clamp to clamp it to the wood surface. Now, once you find the location of where you want your hinge to be in the cabinet, transfer that mark onto the door. I used my utility blade to make a nice clean line. Then slide the jig locator down, and there is a center line on this jig that you need to line up with your mark. Once that's done, clamp it down to the bar, then clamp it down to your work surface. Now, there is a locator pad underneath this to clamp it to the wood against the jig, but because of that, it actually causes the wood surface to rise up. So, you're going to have to take up the difference with a Rockler bench cookie. It is the exact height for this jig the way it's engineered. So put one at each corner, and since my door is a little bit longer, I've got one on this corner on the inside as well. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is there is a stop block right here for repeatability. Now, the jig also comes with an adapter, and it's for your drill. And it basically has a Forstner bit with some really sharp blades. I know, I cut myself on it unpacking it. So, once you get the stop collar adjusted to the depth of your particular hinge that you own, go ahead and make sure it's nice and seated on the jig and drill it down. And as you can see, it leaves a nice, clean, tear-out free hole. And it's perfect for the hinge that I'm going to use. Now, most hinges that you might own will tell you what the backset is right here at the edge of the door to the back side of the hinge. Now, unfortunately, mine did not. It gave me a measurement from the center of the cup to the edge of the door. So I know that the cup diameter is 35 millimeters. So all I did was half that, which is 17.5, subtract it from the 22.5 that you see there from the center, and it left me with 5 millimeters. And that is what I set the jig to. Hey guys, if you're watching this video, I know that this is stuff that you enjoy, so be sure to hit that subscribe button that you see down below. Also, hit that thumbs up button and show me a little love on this video. And hey, if you want some insight on the entire build process from day to day, subscribe to my Instagram as well, where I post daily pictures of the build process of things that I think you might enjoy. Okay, now it's time to hang the other half of the hinges that attach to the cabinetry. Now, Rockler came up with another jig from their Jig It line that locates these hinges in the perfect spot. It's just a piece of plexi that has 2 holes that are separated just the right amount for these Euro-style hinges. There's a center line here down the middle of the plexi, and all you got to do is find your measurement that you made for the doors, locate that center line on that measurement, and then using a self-centering drill bit, drill through the holes, and you're done. Well, it seems like no matter how much planning you do, you always seem to run into a problem with measurements. Now, you hope it runs into the early stages that you can correct, but if it's in the finishing stage, sometimes you're a little SOL. Well, I over-measured for the doors a little bit because I wasn't too sure how much overhang the hinges were going to have. Well, after a little bit of deliberation, I decided to go a slightly different route. My drawers down here don't have a blue strip running right down the middle. But since my doors meet at a joint, I put blue strips on those so they do. And I'm not too fond of it. And because of the problem I'm running into with the doors overlapping, I think I'm just going to eliminate the blue strip altogether and then just paint a strip of black on the inside of each door. Can't forget the finishing touches. Well, now that that's done, I'm going to show you what's fixing to go here. Oh, crap. It's snapping, not clapping. Ah! Dang it. Okay, that's better. Hate it when it does that. All right, this is my new mini lathe. I've had it sitting in the box for a little while because I haven't had a place to put it, but now it will have a home right here on this end of the countertop. I've also got an extension bed that I will be putting on it as well. So I can turn long spindles if I want. So that'll be another aspect of the Rockler Jigs Woodshop to come for the year 2016. Well guys, that pretty much wraps up this build. I want to thank you for joining me. I've had a blast building it. Plans are going to be available on my website, and as a special bonus for the first 48 hours after I release this video, you can use the code BOOM48 and get a discount on this particular plan. All you have to do is adjust it to the dimensions of your shop and you're good to go. If you also want any insight on the jigs that I use for this project that made my life so much easier during this entire build process, there will be links in the description or my article on my website. Guys, thank you very much, and I will see you guys next week on another build. Boom!